Welcome back to another episode of Whip Media TV. I'm your host, Whip Media Mickey, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do to the channel. Subscribe right now. Join the Vibe Tribe. On today's episode, I cover the art of strategy. Your life is a constant stream of decisions. What career to follow, how to manage a business, whom to marry, how to bring up children, whether to run for president, how to communicate to a colleague who is being a d***, and how to react when life slaps you in the face. The common element is that you are not a vacuum. Instead, you are surrounded by the world that interacts with any decision you make. The context of the situation you find yourself in matters. For example, think of the difference between the decisions of a lumberjack and a general. When the lumberjack decides to chop wood, he does not expect it to fight back. The environment he finds himself in is neutral. But when the general tries to cut down the enemy's army, he must anticipate and overcome his opponent's plans. Context matters. There are some times in your life you need to be a lumberjack and a general or something completely different. Therefore, no book has all the answers. A great piece of advice will never likely be universally applied to every situation. We all would agree that brushing your teeth is a great advice, but it isn't a great idea to whip out the toothbrush at your next business meeting. Sex is great and healthy, but if my partner and I start going at it in the cafe, then we go to jail. In game theory, optimal strategy depends on the context and opponent you find yourself with. This applies to all the learnings you're about to get in the rest of this video. Be a listener. You have two ears and one mouth, the saying goes. You'll certainly win friends as you're basically a sounding board for all of their problems and you make them feel important. But this applied to an extreme can be harmful. How can you assert yourself if you're always listening? Why not learn also to be an influential speaker? Stay in your lane and specialize. A common meme that penetrates our culture is the advice to stay in your lane. This is great if you want to become a chess master, ballerina, or a pure engineer, but this advice can destroy just as many careers as it can create. Be productive. Another great piece of advice is to be productive in your work. Getting more done in a smaller period of time surely leads to greater success, as do other skills like negotiation, being able to secure better deals for yourself and your team, or pitching ideas for new creative projects. You'll climb the ladder much faster than all of your equals, but this is meaningless if you're fast at climbing a ladder that is sitting against the wrong wall. You might be the most successful billionaire, but does it matter if you're obese, single, and depressed? The context of everything matters. As a human being inhabiting the world, you need to know what game you're playing. This is what game theory is all about. Playing with yourself. Millions of people make a New Year's resolution every year. It defines it as a commitment that an individual makes to a project or a habit, often a lifestyle change that is generally interpreted as advantageous. What happens to all those wonderful life-improving plans? Many reasons contribute to the failure. People set themselves excessively ambitious goals and are constantly failing. There are essentially two selves playing within you. The one who wants to drink beer, eat burgers, and watch Netflix, versus the one that wants chiseled abs and to become a billionaire. The current self wants to take the easy road. So how do you stack the odds in the direction you want? How shall you play this game? Every night you can resolve to wake up early the next morning for a good start of the day. This is a game of your nighttime self against your future weak-willed self. If the game is unstructured, the morning self has the advantage of the second move. However, the nighttime self can change the game to create and seize first mover advantage by setting the alarm clock. But will it work? What happens if you just keep smacking Zoom repeatedly? Well, an even earlier self could have put the alarm clock on the other side of the room, so you got no choice to get up. But a really sophisticated morning self might stumble towards it and hit it, and go back to bed. then the night self needs to make something else up. How about an electrical device to brew some coffee automatically wake you up? So the wonderful smell will induce the morning self out of bed. That will do the trick. See, the game seems trivial, but the point is that you can make a stream of decisions right now to put yourself on the right track for the future. Playing with others. You aren't in an isolated vacuum. Most games you are playing involve other players. There are a few items that you can keep in mind to win as many games as possible. Reputation matters. If you try a strategic move in a game and then back off, you may lose your reputation for credibility. In a once-in-a-lifetime situation, reputation isn't important and therefore of little commitment value. In other contexts, reputation is everything. In most of your life, you typically play several games with different rivals at the same time, or the same rivals at different times. Future rivals will remember your past actions and may hear of your past actions when dealing with others. Therefore, you have an incentive to develop a reputation, and this serves to make your future moves credible. Teamwork. Think about a general who is in the game of winning the war. The most meaningful game isn't just with the opposing army. It is with his soldiers. He needs his men to go hammer and thong in the advancing army. See, if everyone in his team buys into the game, they'll have a ferocious army that is fearless approaching the enemy, excited for battle. The army is much more likely to win, and the general and individual soldiers are more likely to survive. The ancient Roman army, for example, made falling behind the front line a capital offense as the army advanced. If another soldier saw the other soldier fall behind, he would also be killed. This is the honor code. Anyone who wimps out gets killed on the spot. The risk of falling behind is certain death. The risk of changing forward at full pace is a good chance of death. The Art of Strategy.